morning.
Good morning. We're not chinking. We chink a lot. Good morning. You have to excuse us. It is an absolute hive of activity in our house this morning because for the second morning in a row, we've had a baby bird in our
house.
In our house. Long story short, this house at one point was possibly going to be a nursery. So there's radiator covers and there's like big skirting board covering.
The skirting boards are about 2 inches wide.
So everything for the radiator is enclosed. Okay, so.
After you're done chewing, we can bottom for this.
Yes.
Yes, darling. Anyway, so the second morning.
We could have this little teddy boy bird.
The birdie could have a teddy bear.
So for the second morning in a row, the birdie's been behind the radiator.
Yes.
Yes, it can have the digger.
Digger.
So for the second morning in a row, the bird has been behind the radiator cover in the house.
I thought I was going mad yesterday. I was sat there just before we went out for our breakfast, and I could hear this bird. I was like, "Is it in the house?" You were like, "No, it's coming down the chimney. It must be going. Yeah, the noise must be echoing down the chimney." I was like, "I'm pretty sure it's coming from the window."
One sec. Let me push the door to because there's a lot. Guys, listen. Just give us 5 minutes. Yeah, that's a fab teddy bear for the bird. Why don't you go and start getting all your toys and bits ready you want for the bird and put them in a pile by the door? Yeah, brilliant. It will love a crane.
And Dad.
Yes.
Yes, Ben.
Can we build that bottom for a little?
Yes.
So the noise was coming from the window frame, and I was going, "It's definitely in the house." And Adam was like, "It's definitely not. It's definitely coming down the chimney." So we went out to look, and couldn't see anything. It came out, and then all of a sudden I was like, "No, it's definitely behind the radiator cover." And lo and behold, we moved it back, and this little tiny birdie, and it was
I'm going to use the force. One sec.
little tiny blue tit, and it was a little, not quite a chick, but quite a small blue tit.
I still think it had some baby fluff on it.
It had a little bit of baby fluff, and it was doing that when it wants.
They call that baby down first.
When his mum, it's waiting for his mum to feed it a worm, and it wasn't doing that. So we managed to scoop it up and put it out the window. And then this morning, I'm like going, I can hear it again. And it took us a while again. I thought it was in the wall cavity, and then we thought it was elsewhere, and then moved it out, and it's there again. So we found that we've located the hole in our wall. So we've now put a birdhouse in front of the hole on the decking.
A birdhouse in your soul,
if you like. And now the kids are very excited that they have a new pet, even though it's not a pet. It's definitely...
Yes, and it sounds like the baby bird needs a cuddly toy, a crane, a digger, and a tiny birdhouse about that big that has no bottom on it. So I think it's going to be set.
Couple of location options. You might want the big penthouse. It might want the smaller cottage.
Currently, it has a cuttlefish, some grass, and some birdseed to choose to nibble on as well.
So that's our day.
And until a cat goes past, basically, we get quite a lot of cats in the garden. Right, go on then, Emily. What are we talking about this morning?
Today, it's been a really, really, really good weekend actually. I took part in our very first ever virtual wedding fair with our other Bailey Bell tents, which I was a bit on the fence about whether it was going to work or it wasn't. And actually, it was a brilliant example of how pivoting the business has paid dividends. I always use paid dividends, there's a phrase in my head. But
well, we haven't pivoted ours. Someone else pivoted their business, and we were at it.
Luckily,
but I'll tag them.
I really loved it.
Hampshire Virtual Wedding Fairs.
I wasn't sure. For its inaugural event, it had a really good uptake. I think 25% of Eventbrite turned up, which is amazing. Bear in mind, it's only just literally turned around. And it was an experience for brides, grooms, couples to come on and chat to a variety. There were 16 suppliers sat in various rooms in the virtual meeting space. And they came in and they got to... And what I loved about it is when we've been to historical wedding fairs, which drain my soul... Do they drain your soul?
You know, let's be polite about it. We're just not fans of it. We find them a lot of work, a lot of effort, and there's not always...
It's not very natural, is it?
No, and it's fine. It's just not our thing. And that's why we started online presence growth, like we talked about Yellow Tuxedo.
When you think about when you go to a fair, any kind of exhibition, you always do that thing going, don't make eye contact. I don't want to... Oh, they've got a freebie on their table, but do I want it?
No one likes being sold to.
You don't like being sold. But
we're British. British people don't like being sold to.
In this experience, they got to choose which suppliers they dropped into to talk to, which meant right off the bat, they were already vested in and interested in our product, and therefore had the questions that they wanted answered, and they were ready to engage and have a chat with the supplier. For us, worth its weight in gold, because you spend so much time at physical events going, oh my God, are they going to convert? Do they just want my sweets off my table? I don't really know. Maybe I'll put their email address down on our mailing list. Maybe they won't ever come back to us. So, point being, oh wow.
What?
Point
You've
being,
done absolutely nothing. Just keep talking. I'm just.
point being, Alan's touched on it already. That online presence is so vital. Whether you believe it or not, it is so vital because you are warming up your audience before they buy from you. And we've always talked about that whole know, like, and trust. We say it time and time and time and time again. But it's so true. And this weekend was a perfect example of how if you do it right online, it really is worthwhile doing. And yeah, I went away buzzing from it, and even you in the other room could see it all happening.
I was in the suppliers WhatsApp group because it was their first one, and there was just lots of back behind the scenes chat, and it came across really well.
What else we got going on?
Well, we haven't left a lot of time. That was kind of why I was smiling. So
what else we got going on?
So no, we're very excited. So this may not go ahead, but it won't hurt to talk about it because it's not really an issue. But not only did Emily get a phone call from our local BBC radio station last week going, can you come online?
On radio.
On radio, come online. That is the old online. Come on the radio to talk about weddings this morning. So we had that. But we had, this is kind of, we talk about legacy and we talk about long term a lot, right? And this is a really good example of it. 9:30 last night, I had a message on LinkedIn from a BBC journalist we met 3 years ago now. 3 years ago, we were on their radio show, and I added them on LinkedIn, and we exchanged the odd comment, etc. And she now works for. Do I say anything?
Yeah,
keep it red. She now works for BBC World Service, right? And she said, this may not go ahead, Alan, but we are possibly planning something on weddings tomorrow. Are you, Emily, or both of you available? Right? That's it, basically. And, what a fantastic opportunity to perhaps be on BBC World Service today talking about weddings, because we love weddings. That's what our other two businesses are in, and it's fantastic. And the point being is, we talk about legacy, we talk about relationships, we talk about ecosystems and everything else. So when you boil that down, this was an opportunity that came in the past from a grown online presence. That radio presenter entered our ecosystem, whether they realise it or not, and we are still in that. She's still in that. We're still in
3
that.
years later, still thinking of us.
Yeah, we grew our audience, we connected, and the conversion may not always be financial. We want it to be financial, but in this instance, she's still thinking about us and still message going, you guys still talking about weddings? Because we talk a lot about Yellow Tuxedo right now. And said, yes, we are. She's like, this may not go ahead, but we are planning something that may. I was like, fine. But that's the point. The point is, there's now someone on BBC World Service who used to be on a different BBC radio station who's still talking to us, still going, are you about to talk about weddings? That's
the big kicker there is why are you doing your business? Are you doing it for a quick buck, or are you doing it for that long-term goal?
Legacy.
That legacy and why you're doing it. And you won't always get the return a day, a week, a month ahead of what you've done, but play the game properly and be consistent constantly. Consistent, that's kind of the same thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
But be consistent, and it may be further along down the line, but you're still being true to what you believe in. It will again come out
and basically this whole video was meant to be about PR, and I don't think we've said the words PR yet, but the point's there basically. And I always find that really interesting about vast majority of our clients. We can trace them back to something we've done to grow our ecosystem. Yeah. We were talking about this last night, and we had a vlog on this a while back now, and we traced them all the way back, and we can trace the majority back now to something, and that's very important. But we can do that, and
exciting. Actually.
No, it's very exciting. I think we need to wrap up because we've talked about three things, haven't we? Our bird,
the bird.
What else? The wedding fair. And PR legacy, our fifth theme, possibly be rebranded as acts. No, themes to be decided.
Oh, I see what you're doing there.
Circus acts. Our 5 themes, anyway. Right, have a fantastic Monday. We're off to help
sort
the
bird
kids.
out.
Yeah,
I feel sorry for the bird.
I feel sorry for the bird. Bye.
Bye.